Good morning, and welcome to Walton United Church's virtual service. This morning we are at the Dieppe Monument in Hamilton. It's a beautiful sunny morning, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be.
Val, did you know here on Hamilton Beach at this memorial that it was designed by a member of Walton?
No, really? Oh, it's a wonderful place. Thank you for doing this. It's beautiful.
It's a national tribute to those who served in that battle.
Wow.
And over behind you, on the various plaques, we see the name of a relative of some members of Walton who was at Dieppe and was killed.
Oh.
So we remember their service and so many other people today in this act of remembrance.
It's beautiful.
Now, coming here today, I had to put the defroster on my car.
I had to scrape my windows.
It's one of the chillier days that we have recorded. And it got me thinking about those who served.
Yeah.
I know that there were Walton members who served in World War I in the trenches. Imagine how cold it was in the winter.
Oh, no, I can't imagine. Brr!
Or those who served in the North Atlantic on ships in the winter. Over in the skies of Western Europe and plains in the winter. Some of the many sacrifices that we remember that give us what we enjoy in this nation, in this world today.
Thank you.
So come, let us worship on this Remembrance Day Sunday. Will you join with me now in singing O Can? Today we are sharing with you a litany entitled, Why Do We Remember? We are here at the Naval Memorial at Spencer Smith Park in Burlington.
What do we remember today?
Decisions made to stand in the face of injustice, lives lost because of that call, hope and dreams that it might never happen again.
Why do we remember this time of pain and sorrow?
We remember so that we too might challenge injustice in times of peaceful conversation, in times of painful conflict.
But where is God in all of this?
God is with us. God is with them. God is with the soldier and the civilian. God is with us all, face covered in tears, hoping that we will find shalom.
What is this shalom?
Peace with justice, peace with hope, peace that brings new life, God's peace.
Then let us remember wars past, wars present,
And let us worship our God, the God of shalom.
the call to worship. The measure of a people's heart is this:
Do we remember the sacrifices of the past?
do we work for peace in the present?
Do we declare hope for the future?
And so we come now before God to name as our dream God's reign of shalom, to commit ourselves to the cause of peace, and to remember.
Let us worship God.
Let us pray. O God, our help in ages past, our home for today, and our hope for the future, be with us now as we gather for worship this day. Support our voices as we sing songs in our own space that celebrate your presence with us. Raise our spirits as we remember those who have died in times of war. Deepen our relationship with you as we pray and consider our faith. Open our hearts to understand your call to peacemaking and peacekeeping, empowering us to answer that call in all we say and do, in this service and in our daily lives. Amen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Who lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
This morning's Bible reading are from Thessalonians 4, verses 13 to 18, and Matthew 25, verses 1 to 13. But we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about those who have died, so that you may not grieve, as others do, who have no hope. For since we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so, through Jesus, God will bring with him those who have died. For this we declare to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive,
who are left until the coming of the Lord will by no means precede those who have died. For the Lord himself, with a cry of command, with the archangel's call, and with the sound of God's trumpets, will descend from heaven, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up in the clouds together with them to meet the Lord in the air, and so we will be with the Lord forever. Therefore, encourage one another with these words. Continuing in Matthew, chapter 25, verse 1 to 13. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil for their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, all of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout, "Look, here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him." And then all those bridesmaids got up and trimmed their lamps. But the foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise replied, "No, there will not be enough for you and for us. You better go to the dealers and buy some for yourselves." And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the other bridesmaids came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he replied, "Truly, I tell you, I do not know you. Keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour." This ends the reading of God's holy word.
Today I was not supposed to be the one speaking. Nearly 2 years ago, we invited a woman named Donna Beek to be here today to speak. But COVID changed everything. I begin this message today on this virtual Remembrance Day by sharing some of Donna's words with you. For they bring the meaning of November 11th to us in a unique way. Donna is a former soldier herself, a Silver Cross mother, and a graduate of the Masters of Theology program at a theological college. For a career, Donna normally tailors the uniforms of the Canadian Armed Forces and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And at the 2017 Invictus Games, she took on a special role as tailor for the competitors. Donna explained, "I truly believe in what the games are all about, and I support the athletes as they forge ahead, get stronger and move ahead with their new normal." As a former member of the Canadian Armed Forces, Donna is well aware of the demands of being a soldier. She also knows sacrifice all too well. As a Silver Cross mother, she represents mothers across Canada who have lost their children to war. Her son, Private Corey, was killed by a roadside bomb while serving in Afghanistan. As the games got underway, Donna had a message for the game competitors competing in Toronto. If it were not for the suffering from their catastrophic events, our eyes and hearts would not be open to witness the kindness, love, and appreciation of those who truly support us. It is very important for us to allow ourselves to experience and embrace this kindness and to show it in return. to pass it on. To do otherwise would be to allow those who perpetuated this violence to continually win and dominate us. We must not just accept, but fully embrace our new normal in order to find inner strength and to conquer oppression in all forms. So if Donna was here this morning, these would be just some of the words she would share at Walton. We would also usually be standing out on the front lawn of Walton following the live service for the annual Remembrance Day parade that passes on its way from the Bronte Legion. We usually see hundreds of people gathering around the Bronte Cenotaph on Lakeshore Road across from the church. Today instead we gather at this virtual cenotaph, which is the title of this morning's message. I think many of those lost to COVID so far have been in long-term care. And some of those residents were veterans. They had come back from Normandy and Western Europe, the North Atlantic, peacekeeping missions, Hong Kong, Korea, and the skies over Europe. They had led long lives, but have now been taken by this pandemic. Today our church not only would be preparing for our annual turkey dinner fundraiser, but our church would be decorated with armed forces memorabilia and the uniquely created poppy displays of the last few years. The idea this year, before COVID hit, was to have poppies attached to fishing line, suspended from the high wooden beams in the sanctuary. The poppies would be on the floor and be pulled up from the pews high in the sky during the silent remembrance. Well, we will save that act of remembrance for another year. Our Bible readings today offer words of comfort and support. First in Thessalonians, when it says, "But we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about those who have died, so that you may not grieve as others do who have no hope." You see, we still grieve on this day of remembrance, as we grieve in any situation of loss. And the difference is we grieve differently, for we have hope. We have faith of the heavenly life, the hope of life eternal. The writer of Thessalonians says that's why we have hope. We believe that Jesus died and rose again. Even so, through Jesus, God will bring with him those who have died. God has not left us alone in the face of death, whether on the battlefield or in the ongoing battle against COVID. The second reading reminds us that we do not know neither the day nor the hour when Christ returns. Some on TV and social media say that we are living in these end times now, that the pandemic is just another sign of the end. But this verse from our reading today reminds us that the knowledge of end times is not in our hands, but in the hands of God. Fear not and be at peace. Hear that again. Fear not and be at peace. The second reading is also a parable or a story about being prepared, as were those wise bridesmaids with their adequate supply of oil for their oil lamps. Specifically, it's about the church as a family of faith and individual believers in our need to be prepared for Christ the bridegroom. In this virtual cenotaph service, I want to also talk about preparation in another way related to the meaning of this day, and those we remember from their past service, sacrifice, and those who are serving and sacrificing today. We need to always be prepared to stand up for the freedoms and the liberties that so many fought and sacrificed for, to give us what we have today. The world around us is changing. The rise of authoritarian rulers, rigged elections, dictatorships, voter suppression, oppression of minorities, gerrymandering, censorship, packed courts, and the silencing of the freedom of the press are issues around the world. Today, we must resolve to say no to those who want to be despots. Wearing the poppy is not only about honoring those who gave so much to give us what we have, but about standing up in our day, in our time, against those who want to take those freedoms away. The poppy and the cenotaph are about looking to the past, but they're also about looking at the present and the future. We stand on guard because they stood on guard.
Let us pray. Loving God, Holy One, your desire is for our wholeness and well-being. We hold in tenderness and prayer the collective suffering of our world at this time. We grieve precious lives lost and vulnerable lives threatened. We ache for ourselves and our neighbors standing before an uncertain future. We pray, may love, not fear, go viral. Inspire our leaders to discern and choose wisely, aligned with the common good and peace throughout the world. Help us to practice social distancing and reveal to us new and creative ways to come together in spirit and in solidarity. Call us to profound trust in your faithful presence. You, the God who does not abandon, you, the Holy One, breathing within us, breathing among us, breathing around us in our beautiful yet wounded world. Amen.
the offering of ourselves, our gifts, our tithes. We are blessed to have the freedom to worship together in peace. Let us thank the Lord our God by giving our offerings today as we offer them forward to be dedicated to the work for peace and hope in this world.
Let us pray together. Remembering the generations who have gone before us, we have come to this place of peace to worship you, O God. Remembering the many who gave their lives so that we might be free, we have come to this hour of peace to worship you. Remembering all those who have suffered loss and grief in the name of war, we have come to this service of peace to worship you. Remembering all who continue to live in the midst of violence, we have come with our gifts of peace to worship you. In Jesus' name we pray. Ever the Prince of Peace. Amen.
Children of God, go back into this fragile world that God loves. Be gentle with the people you live with and love, and be gentle with yourself. Pray for peace in a world of war, for harmony in a world of discord, and for mutual respect in a world where fear, suspicion, and hate squeeze out life in people. Let us be committed to live, work, pray, and even sing. Don't forget to sing, just be careful with others close by, so God can use you. May God's peace reign in your hearts, in our homes, in our nations, and in our world. Amen.